Chile. In English, it used to be rendered Chile with an I until standardized as Chile around 1900 or so. It is a coincidence Chile with an E and Chile with an I resemble chili peppers, the dish chili, and chili as in cold. Or maybe not. Both the country name and culinary names likely come from native languages, but not the same language. This was confusing because, when they first emerged, Europeans believed chili and spicy chilies came from the same source. That has become more and more unlikely as the centuries have gone on. The plant chili comes from the Nahuatl, native Mexican, word for peppers. Chile, the country, does not. No one's really sure where it comes from. So, chili, or maybe chiri, is not Chile's, but where does it come from? The likely source languages are Quechua and Aymara, in the mountains of Peru and Chile. All possible origins of Chile's name run into one another: valleys, rivers, chieftains, the ends of the earth, a possible misprint, or all these in one and all equally fictional. All equally remote, equally debated, and equally rejected across centuries. There exists a whole subfield of Chilean scholarship investigating the name of Chile. It is not really a tale, but a long confusion of words. This is an attempt to interpret Chile, in English at least. From the Inca to the conquistadors to the dictionaries, or diccionarios, Chile has been an enduring debate. Before examining the debated origins, it is best to examine the first usage in an indirect manner. As is obvious, the use of the term Chile for the spine, or cordillera, of South America was an exonym first employed by the Spanish for the region, which then became an endonym for the settlers. But even that history is complicated. The tribes of Lower Chile, considered barbarians by the mountain-dwelling Inca and their predecessors, lacked a unifying name for the region. Though, it appears, due to Incan influence, variations of the Quechua word chiri, tiri, or riti were in use by the Mapuche, also known as the Araucanians. One usage ascribes variations of the name Chili or Chiri to a mythical chieftain of the region, but if this is a pre-Spanish invention or tale created by the conquistadors is unclear. By the time the Spanish arrived in what would be Chile, there was no leader directly bearing the appellation of Chili or Chiri. The first Spaniard to reach Chile, as he coined it, was Diego de Almagro in 1536. Rival of Pizarro, Almagro's expedition may have been led to the region by rumors of the Valley of Chili. It was said to be a rich and fertile place from which the Incas acquired a majority of their gold. According to later chroniclers, it was, to the Inca, the ends of the earth or the last valley of their empire. This Chile, or Land's End, being either the Valley of Copiapo in Chile, the Coquimbo region, or the Aconcagua River. Along the way, Almagro acquired the term Chile. Almagro and his followers then, in honor of their expedition, declared themselves the Men of Chile, using either E or I here as it was not standardized. The name was pretty much a consolation prize for the failed expedition, which found basically nothing. The Araucanians, Mapuche peoples, dealt out a fierce resistance which would dissuade Almagro, force him back to Peru, and resist Spanish, and after Chilean rule, for the next almost 300 years. It is disputed where Almagro acquired the word, and if he directly did, from what source he got it. The next conquistador to arrive in the region in 1541 was Pedro de Valdivia of Extremadura. That part is etymologically important for the name. Who had found the capital of Santiago del Nuevo Extremo, New Extremadura, or today's Santiago de Chile. Ignoring political complications, Valdivia would become the first royal governor of the Kingdom of Chile, El Reino de Chile. Not technically a kingdom, but the colonial region of Chile below the Spanish crown. This was simply the administrative name, because the colonists came to call the expanding colony the Provinces of Chile. As the Spanish dominion engulfed the south, Chile became the ready-hand term to refer to the region. Adding even more confusion to the growth of the term, early colonists referred to Santiago as simply Chile. A later Chilean writer compared this to calling London just England. Valdivia attempted to rename the Kingdom of Chile to Nuevo Extremo, New Extremadura, in 1551. Thus, in opposition to the colonists, attempting to expand the Spanish name of the capital to the entire colony. Officially, the effort only lasted 2 or 3 years due to Valdivia's early death. By 1553, the Spanish crown essentially returned to calling the region the Kingdom of Chile in documents. In Madrid, the colony was officially denoted as the Provinces of Chile, named Nuevo Extremo. Valdivia's influence in the colony did not fully wane after his death in 1534, though. Due to the bloody Arauco War in the south, there was an effort to call the colony Flandis Indiano, Indian Flanders, a name in reference to the Spanish possession of Flanders, today known as the Netherlands, and the tumultuous wars of that region, conflicts in which the former governor, Pedro de Valdivia, had served. Despite official efforts, the Spanish colonists continued to call themselves Chilenos, though natives were at first excluded from this term. In the colonial period, it was a word of exclusively European descent, if not largely Spanish alone. After a series of liberalizations due to the Napoleonic Wars in Europe, in 1818, Bernardo O'Higgins, acting as Supreme Director, proclaimed the Republic of Chile independent of Spanish rule and extended the term Chileno to all inhabitants of the nation, believing it to be a term of national unification. Though, the name of the Republic would not be administratively formalized as Chile until July 30th, 1824, due to competing constitutions, and only then it was by decree of the Supreme Director. This solidified the name of the nation, but Chilenos soon wondered why it was so. In the past centuries, there have been several expansive attempts to completely catalog the name of Chile. The first appeared in the original comprehensive work of Chilean history in 1646, Histórica relación del Reino de Chile y de las misiones y ministerios que ejercita en el Campaña de Jesús, by the Jesuit priest Alonso de Ovalle, an early attempt to chronicle the total history of Chile and its native peoples. The Jesuit priest is also responsible for publishing the first maps of Chile along with the book in 1646. Confusingly though, de Ovalle credits a mysterious friar named Gregorio de Leon, maybe Italian, as a source for much of the information featured on his maps. Who exactly was de Leon? Either creation of de Ovalles, or writer of a lost work on the New World. The friar de Leon, according to de Ovalle, apparently wrote much on the wealth of Chile's lands. Though de Ovalle's Histórica relación del Reino de Chile would have been many Europeans' first overall historical impression of Chile. Although, Alonso de Garcia's epic poem of the Arauco War, La Araucana, published in 3 parts in 1569, 1578, and 1589, popularized the name of Chile in Europe as that fertile province in the New World. Being a religious chronicler, de Ovalle's work has its indulgences. Or as later Chilean writer Benjamín Vicuña Mackenna described in his own essay on Chile, El origen del nombre de Chile, 1878, we don't imagine, like that knave Father Ovalle, that Peru was the ancient Faron, it is to say, the Ophir of Solomon, from where, according to that Chilean historian, de Ovalle, they carried that gold, pearls, and Vicuña leather for the great king. From Mackenna's collection of essays on Chilean history, Relaciones Históricas, 1878, the essay Del origen del nombre de Chile is much more the product of 19th century nationalism rather than 17th century religious speculation. While a majority of Mackenna's essay is an exegesis on the many possible origins of Chile's name, his most notable conclusion is the rejection of the bird hypothesis, a product of pure romanticism that connected the name Chile to birdsong of the region. The theory that the name Chile comes from the local poetic Mapuche name of Trili, or Trille, yellow-winged blackbird, a native onomatopoeia for the bird's call, or a corruption of the Spanish chillido, for shriek or possibly birdsong. Mackenna rejects both of these as all too naive and sentimental. He does highlight that the term Chile was probably a word of native origin somehow, often connecting it to the pre-Spanish Inca, which was then adopted by the Spanish settlers. Himself a major Chilean intellectual, Mackenna's essays resulted in focusing the search for Chile's name as a historical pastime linked to Chilean nationalism, an attempt to dissuade against any extravagant, lazy, or distant origins for the endonym. Such as the beliefs the name had some direct links to English, or, like the Solomon Islands, theories it was related to the legendary mines of King Solomon from the Old Testament. In 1904, Rudolf Lenz published the compendium Diccionario Etimológico de las Voces Chilenas Derivadas de Lenguas Indígenas Americana, or Etymological Dictionary of Chilean Words Derived from the Indigenous American Languages. The didactic title describes exactly what it is. Lenz's compilation of all Chilean words in use adopted from native languages, from both Peru and Chile. Featured on page 279 to 284, the entry on Chile in Chileno is more an etymological analysis on the complications of the name rather than a simple dictionary entry. Lenz cannot provide a clear answer for the name either, but he does feature all plausible origins for it. The original rendering/pronunciation he believes could have been anything akin to Chili, Tilly, Tilly, Tile, or Trilly. The modern Chile appears to be a Castilianization. Lenz's tri-point origin theory will be familiar and repeated again. Chile is likely a word of varied native origin, most often connected to a valley, a river, or a leader's name, but there are too many connections and obscurities to form a conclusive answer. As the analysis of de Ovalle, Mackenna, and Lenz often bleed into one another, along with other authors, it is effective to analyze each source area in Peru and Chile. In Peru, the name of Chile, or Chiri, is most often connected to the city of Casma and the Casma River in the department of Ancash, or to the Misty volcano near Arequipa in the department of Peru. In both cases, the name Chile may have referred to that legendary and fertile valley of the Inca. Early Spanish historians, though divided, insisted there was a Valley of Chile in both regions. Although, in Quechua, the administrative language of the Incan Empire, Chiri most often means cold and Riti means snow. This suggests a more distant origin at the old frontier of the Incan Empire, or instead, it was applied by outsiders to the mountain-dwelling Inca themselves. In more modern analysis, Chris Salazar suggests Chile may have had a connotation of where the world ends to the Inca, also suggesting a farther origin from Peru at the ends of the old Incan Empire, in modern-day Chile after all. In Chile, things are even more confusing, so forgive the pronunciation here. Mackenna suggests this last valley of the Inca, or the Valley of Chile, was either the valley of the Aconcagua River, the valley of the Copiapo, or Copiapu, or a river/lake called Chili Huili, between the Tolten and Catun rivers in southern Chile. All three areas/valleys Almagro's expedition would have encountered or at least been aware of on their journey. All three present possibilities for the original Chile which they adopted. Either the Aconcagua or Copiapo, itself a corruption of the Quechua Copiapu, could have been the Valley of Chile, and there exists a lake named Huilipilon near the Tolten and Catun rivers. Copiapo is even the name by which the native Maluche knew the lands of Chile. Lenz believes that the name Chiri or Chiti may have ultimately derived near the Aconcagua River, maybe being that Valley of Chile. He states it was originally the Valley of the Concagua, which Almagro may have bastardized part of into Chile. 1899's Diccionario Geográfico de la República de Chile concurs, defining Chile River as the name by which the first Spaniards, who entered Chile of the river Aconcagua, knew the valley which was also called Chile. By the headwaters of this river also entered the ancient Indians of Peru by a road opened along it by the Incas, and in which their constructions were seen. To add to that confusion, there is even a Chili River in Arequipa in Peru, but it's not the same river. None of these regions present a clear meaning for Chile besides the fact it was associated with river valleys, but Mackenna claims Chiloé means outgrowth or dependence of Chile. Lenz also proposes the possibility that Chile itself was derived from the coastal island of Chiloé, which the Spanish knew as New Galicia. The Diccionario Geográfico de la República de Chile claims that Chiloé was originally rendered as Chiyue, meaning place of Chile or maybe island of the gull in Mapuche. This name then would have spread, either through the Spanish or the natives, until it reached Almagro, who received it as just Chile. Or it could be related to the Huiliche people who inhabited the area between the Chiloé Island and the Tolten River. The issue is the commonness of the term Chile or Huili as a word or prefix in both Peru and Chile. The geography has no lack of features bearing both. This abundance of the term Chile and its derivatives was enough evidence for Felipe Gómez de Vadura to conclude in his Historia Geográfica Natural y Civil del Reino de Chile in 1789 that Chile had to be of pre-Spanish origin. The Picunche chieftain of the Aconcagua Valley, Michimalonco, known also as Michimalongo or Michimalonco, was said to bear the title Chief of the Valley of Chile. The confusion on his name was due to being raised in Cusco, under the patronage of the Inca, where each knew him by a different rendering of his name, depending on their language. Lenz says he either ruled of or from the mysterious Valley of Chile at the ends of the Incan Empire. Though, Mackenna raises the possibility, in regards to Michimalonco's position, Chile was either an inherited or ceremonial term given to him. While it seems they never met, Almagro would have likely heard of Michimalonco, or the Cacique de Chile. Due to his attack on Santiago in 1541, Michimalonco impressed upon the Spanish the legend of Chile, and was partially responsible for its reputation as a savage land at the ends of the Spanish Empire. Beside Michimalonco's own reputation, Spanish explorers also had a habit of borrowing names and titles of local leaders to fill in their maps. So it's very much possible Almagro heard of Michimalonco and then adapted his title for his own use. Speaking of maps, it is time to entertain an origin for Chile on the opposite side of the world. The name of Chile may be connected to the endless medieval legends of Western Isles and the Atlantic Ocean, even if not the direct origin for the name itself. Theories from antiquity and beyond that placed ghostly islands of paradise in the expansive Atlantic prior to the European discovery of the New World. In his paper, The Voyage of an Island, Vincent H. de P. Cassidy proposes a tangential theory on the origin of the name of Chile. It'll be included here for entertainment value, but don't take it so seriously. On page 7, he writes this in a footnote about a misprint in a certain copy of the medieval work of geography, De Imagine Mundi. Chile is undoubtedly a misprint for Tili. The mistaking of a manuscript T for C was not infrequent. In the Vita Sancti Albae, for example, Toul appears in variant manuscripts as Tile, Tele, and Cele. Nevertheless, the appearance in the North Atlantic of Chile, which one should expect to find on the shores of the South Sea, far to the southeast of Asia, cannot help but startle. By coincidence, the name of Chile in South America comes from an Indian word meaning land of snow, and Snowland was the first Norse name for Iceland. This is the Isle of Thule, or Thule, an island, probably Iceland, from classical geography regarded as the northern limit of the inhabitable world. How to pronounce Thule, or Thule, or Thule is as debated as the origin of Chile itself. Its name too was as commonly bastardized. By the Middle Ages, there was many Thules in speculative geography. Tili, which was northeast of Britain, Tile, which rested somewhere in the Atlantic, Thilos, which was an island off of Persia, and an Asian Tylos, said to be a place of paradise in the Asian Oceans. All of these tools were constantly conflated and confused for one another in medieval and Renaissance geography. That tropical Tylos, the rendering Tili, and the misprint of T for C are the most interesting due to their speculative or coincidental influence on this topic. Christopher Columbus, his brother Bartholomew Columbus, and their circle were rather familiar with Thule or Tili. Christopher Columbus had even visited Iceland, which he regarded as Thule. The Columbus brothers' favorite book may have also featured the famous C for T misprint. Pierre Daly's work of medieval geography and cosmology, Imago Mundi. Based on Greek and Latin sources, it was a major inspiration for Columbus's voyages. Columbus, maybe apocryphally, claimed it was his sole source of navigation, and, through it, he was familiar with ancient geography, including references to Thule. There are some claims that Thule in Imago Mundi in some copies may have been misprinted as Chile for Thule or Tili, though it does not seem the Columbus brothers' copy featured this error, or if it was common in the copies of Imago Mundi at all. Columbus, Christopher that is, on some level did equivocate the lands he reached as the supposed Asian paradise of Tylos. To add to it, by the end of his life, Columbus truly believed the tropics he had found were the outskirts of the biblical paradise, even writing the now forgotten Book of Prophecies to present his belief in a religious tone. It is a lot of circumstance, but is there any clear proof Thule, or Tylos, is connected to Chile or any misrendering of it? There are implications in the surroundings, but those are also highly disputable. The Spanish did employ names linked to legends, though. The Spanish Caribbean, for example, Las Antillas Españolas, or the Spanish Antilles. The region was named after the legendary island of Antilla. Antilla was a fictional island, sometimes featured in the Western Ocean under Terra Incognita, said to be where 7 Christian bishops fled to during the Muslim conquest of Iberia. There they founded 7 cities named Iria, Antwerp, Ansali, Anseli, Ansori, Ansoli, and Khan? One odd city out. Columbus saw Cuba as Antilla and believed it was equivalent to Sipanzo, or Japan. It was not, but the New World did mark Antilla, or the Island of the 7 Cities. It should also be remarked on that Brazil's name also bears a resemblance to the legendary island of Brazil, with an S in English, said to lie west of Ireland. but this is probably a chili and chili peppers issue. The Phantom Islands name comes from an unclear Irish Gaelic source, but Brazil's name comes from Brazilwood or Brazilwood in Portuguese ultimately. Its translation means something like red or emberwood, which came into vogue as the name of the colony due to being a major export. Still, the resemblance is there for anyone curious enough to investigate. In his essay, Benjamín Vicuña Mackenna wrote there is an ignorance in the Anglosphere, and especially the United States, of the comprehension of Chile's name. Let this at least then be an honest attempt to right that, no matter its failures, and, I am sure, many, many flubs. Chris Salazar, on the blog Herbatorium, has made an exhaustive effort to track down the sources of Chile's name. It is an excellent read for those able to read Spanish. What major points Senor Salazar has found that Mackenna and others did not note, I have also included here, such as the expansion on Vincent Cassidy's entertaining, if out there, Tule Chile misprint note. There is not even an overall definite, satisfying conclusion that can be provided to end this. The one thing is the plethora of coincidences tied to Chile's name. It resembles the chili pepper. In Spanish, it resembles the trilli or chillido of birdsong. In Quechua, it means cold, just as it sounds like Chile in English, or it could be a land of snow. On older maps, there exist misspellings which seem to render mythical places as Chile. Then, there is the mystery of the name Chile, which rests in the land. The Spanish considered it the ends of the earth. Or maybe it was where the lands end, in both the Old and New World. I would like to give a thank you I cannot pronounce to my supporters, Fraser and the Gelsomini family.